Hello, nice people. We'll be discussing Willow Smith exposing Jada Pinkett Smith for bad parenting. Keep an eye out for the show. During a recent episode of Red Table Talk, Jada Pinkett Smith and her daughter Willow Smith were open about their relationship. Brene Brown, a best-selling author and research professor at the University of Houston who has studied vulnerability, courage, shame, and empathy, was featured on Monday's episode. Brown explained at one point during the discussion how shame is used as an oppressive tool and can also be harmful when used as a parenting tool. Shame is the threat of being unlovable for children, she explained. I recall times when I used shame on one of my children, and it's the most devastation I can imagine. Jada described this mindset as something we're taught. I'm like, oh my God, I never even saw it that way. But I did really try, especially in raising Willow. I'm not putting shame around her social development. You know, trying to raise a young woman and going through what a young woman goes through, but not realizing how harmful that is, using shame as a parenting tool, Jada admits. I forgive you, Willow said. The 19-year-old elaborated on a time when she had a disappointing experience and felt like Jada had shamed her. When I was younger, I would just get super emotional, and I still do, she explained. But you'd look at me and say, yeah, you can cry, but do it over there. For example, go into your room and do it over there, as if you're pushing me away because I'm crying, as if I'm a bad person for crying. As a parent, Jada said she had a lot of those moments. A lot of it had to do with me not being able to handle my own tears, she explained. Both Jada and her mother, Adrienne Banfield Norris, remembered the intimidating look they had learned to give their children. Brown said she recognized the look and explained that it all comes down to fear. I'll tell you something, I have that look. When I'm scared, I can be quite frightening. When I'm scared, I have to check myself. When I gave him that look the other day, he said, that makes my eyes water. I'm afraid when you do that look because that's the look I had when I was younger. Your friends would have shamed you if you hadn't shamed your children. Jada admitted that she had moments like that when she was going through her own inner turmoil, but she recognized that things were changing in the way parents communicate with their children today. I recognize those moments, and it had a lot to do with my inability to deal with my own vulnerability at a time. Growing up in those environments, you know, and it's a different playing field now. Willow, according to Pinkett Smith, was 9 years old and riding the wave of her newfound music career. Whip My Hair led to a tour, but she dropped out in the middle of it. Smith recalled Willow agreeing to a 30-day schedule and then telling them she was ready to go home after a few shows. They were in Dublin, Ireland, and she instilled in her the importance of finishing the job. She kept asking, but Daddy, it doesn't matter how I feel? Yes, baby, it does matter how you feel, but you have to finish what you started, I said. Willow insisted on being finished. Smith received the message after Willow shaved her head, which he interpreted as a form of protest. He was devastated at the time, but now that he thinks about it, he realizes where he went wrong. I saw how much I was making and forcing and pushing the things that I wanted, and I could tell it was starting to hurt her at that point. My desire for her was outweighing her desire for her, and I had a real epiphany about that and how much a person will despise you if you continue to impose your desires on their lives. Smith learned to be more considerate of his children's feelings as a result, especially when it came to work projects. Willow discussed how the tension between her and her father led to complicated feelings about being a celebrity on a different episode of Red Table Talk. She didn't want to work, but she also didn't want to let anyone down. She felt remorse. I feel like I lost my sanity at one point, she said, and revealed on the show that she ended up hurting herself. Her parents were completely unaware of the situation. She and her father discussed it, but therapy and other techniques are assisting her in healing from that time in her life. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.